I'm going to tell you a story. How would you like to hear a story? The story is one, and yet it is many, many stories. And you've heard them before. You've heard them in fairy tales, when you're a little child in school, nursery rhymes. You've heard the story in the mythologies, the fairy tales, the gospels, the legends, and all of those great classical books like the Bible. And each culture has their stories, and it's all one story. You see, Little Red Riding Hood is the sun. And as the sun sets in the western horizon, so let's take that to be the east and that's the west over there, the ancients always placed the scales of Libra at the western sunset, where from time to time the sun sets with its red colours. And the scales of Libra begin right at the horizon and go for 30 degrees below the horizon. Just like this. These are the signs. This line here would be the this line here would be the horizon, and this one here, and there's the scales of Libra. So when Little Red Riding Hood, the sun sets, you see, Mama tells Little Red Riding Hood, don't you stop and talk to anybody, you go direct, because that's what the sun does. Out of all the planets in the sky, in the solar system that we can see, the 7, the sun is the only one that goes direct. The moon does too, but she waxes and wanes. Whereas the sun's always faithful and true. Jupiter retrogrades. Saturn retrogrades. But little old Red Riding Hood goes direct. You see, but the wolf comes along, and the wolf happens to be Lupus, one of the deacons of Libra, the scales of justice, where the sun dies every day when it sets on the horizon in the west. The Egyptians called that dying, they called it westing. That's why they put all their tombs on the west bank of the Nile. Because that's where you die, that's where all the stars die. You see, you watch the stars in the zodiac go around every night, and you'll see them at the horizon, they go faint, and then all of a sudden they disappear. That's judgment. That happens in Libra. And that's why the crooks, what we call here in the south the Southern Cross, that's on our flag. That's also a deacon. These are the southern deacons, the wolf, Lupus, and the cross. There's the sun, and that's the northern deacon of Libra. It's always on the horizon. But you know, Little Red Riding Hood, when she gets eaten by the wolf here in Libra, the wolf of darkness, this will be day and this will be darkness, she always comes out the other side. You see the huntsman, Orion, in Taurus, the huntsman, he opens up the wolf and Little Red Riding Hood comes out again to see another day. Snow White and the 7 dwarfs. Snow White is the sun, because the sun has a beautiful white aura and glow. And the undifferentiated light of the sun is the one white light, which gets differentiated into 7 colours. And they are the 7 of everything that you see. They'd be the little dwarfs that help Snow White. Sleeping Beauty. I wonder what Sleeping Beauty is all about. Is it in this one? Sleeping Beauty happens to be the earth goddess. Sinks into her long winter sleep when pricked by the point of the spindle. In her cosmic palace all is locked in icy repose, naught thriving, save the ivy which defies the cold, until the kiss of the golden-haired sun god reawakens life and activity. Cinderella and Prince Charming. Cinderella's the dawn, Prince Charming is the sun. Same story, same characters, different names, different cultures, but they all originated from one common origin, according to John Thackeray Bunce. In fairy tales, their origin and meaning. One common origin. And when you study these stories and you study the words, you will see that clearly. It only takes a little bit of research. The wicked stepsisters would be the cloud, and the stepmother would be the night. What have we got over here? Nursery rhymes. Song of Sixpence. 24 blackbirds are the 24 hours, and the pie that holds them is the underlying earth, covered with the overreaching sky. How true a touch of nature it is that when the pie is opened, that is, the day breaks, the birds begin to sing, the king is the sun, and his counting out the money is pouring out the sunshine, the golden shower of Danae. The queen is the moon, and her transparent honey, the moonlight. The maid is the rosy-fingered dawn who rises before the sun, her master, and hangs out the clouds, his clothes across the sky. The particular blackbird who so tragically ends the tale by snipping off her nose is the hour of sunrise. Tom Thumb, Jonah, Little Red Riding Hood. As I said, John Thackeray Bunce again, Little Red Riding Hood, as it is told in our nursery tales, is the evening sun, which is always described as red or golden. The old grandmother is the earth, to whom the rays of the sun bring warmth and comfort. The wolf, which is a well-known figure for the clouds of blackness and blackness of night, is the dragon in another form. First he devours the grandmother, that is, he wraps the earth in thick clouds, which the evening sun is not strong enough to pierce through. Then with the darkness of night he swallows up the evening sun itself, and all is dark and desolate. Then, as in the German tale, the night thunder and the storm winds are represented by the loud snoring of the wolf. And then the huntsman, the morning sun, comes in all its strength and majesty and chases away the night clouds and kills the wolf and revives old grandmother earth and brings Little Red Riding Hood to life again. Or another explanation may be that the wolf is the dark and dreary winter that kills the earth with frost and hides the sun with fog and mist, and then the spring comes. Jack and the Beanstalk, found in the old Hindu tales in which the beans are used as the symbols of abundance or as meaning the moon, and in which the white cow is the clay and the black cow is the night. The three sisters, of whom one is chosen as the bride of an enchanted monster who dwells in a beautiful palace. By the arts of her sisters, she is kept away from him, and he is at the point of death through his grief. Then she returns, and he revives, and becomes changed into a handsome prince, and they live happy ever after. One feature of these legends is that beings closely united to each other, as closely, that is, as the sun and the dawn, may not look upon each other without misfortune. Sleeping Beauty. So you see, that's the story. And the story is to be found in the Gospels as well. Because there's always this shining prince, this hero that comes along and saves the day. Saves the day. Jesus is a saviour. J-E-S means the Son. Same character. This story has been told in many, many genres. And probably the most beautiful one of all would be in what we call the Judeo-Christian works. Absolutely magnificent. And what they are hiding, what these stories are hiding is alchemical truths. That's what they're hiding. You see, because the sun is the orb of light. And that orb of light is the primary of our solar system, which sustains us with its light, electricity. Everything's electromagnetic. And that's how it's sustained. Without the sun, all these molecules just disappear. Now, in order to understand the science of these stories, I'm going to draw a graph on the board, on the whiteboard, to explain some simple science. You've probably seen this many times. That's the Earth, of course, and there's the equator. And there's this sine wave. And that's the apparent path of the sun along the ecliptic. The ecliptic is the path that the sun takes faithfully year in, year out. And it's 17 degrees wide. It's a belt, the zodiac belt. It's 17 degrees wide, divided into 30 degree spaces. And there are 6 here, and there are 6 here. These are the first 6, the top portion in green, and that represents, this is going to be happening all night, isn't it? Anyway, that's and you see this red, the red part, that would be the night or the winter. So you've got summer and winter. You see the photosynthesis of these signs. Aries is the spring, this is spring, and this is summer, this is autumn, and this is winter signs. So you've got all this beautiful green, lush photosynthesis. You plant over here, you reap over here in Virgo. And all of these are the summer signs. These are the winter signs. And that's represented by this, you see. There's Aries over here. There's a little glyph here over here, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, etc. And there's your first 6 months. So this is summer in the northern hemisphere, and this is winter. Obviously, if the sun's over here on the Tropic of Cancer, these guys in the north are going to be having their summer. If the sun's down here, these guys in the north, up here in India, right, they'll be having their winter. Okay, so we're going to borrow this science, and we're going to draw a graph on the board. So we've got there's your Earth, the equator, Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn. And we're going to make this sine wave start at Aries, where everything begins. I won't go into that tonight, because I've done that in lots of other presentations, and it would be a waste of time. But right ascension begins at Aries for all you science types out there. So if you're looking, right ascension is basically, so there's your longitudinal lines and there's your latitudinal lines. Right ascension of those lines in the sky. Okay? And declination would be these ones going across latitudinally. Okay? In the sky. Right ascension, like Greenwich, the Greenwich line is the start of. So if you want to know where, let's say 30 degrees from this point here, where Aries begins, would be where Taurus begins over here. That would be called 2 hours right ascension. Okay, so that's how you, and you'll see that on your, if you're on the internet and you're looking at the sky map like Google.